First serve for Chris Haworth.
Side out.
And that's going to be kind of what we're going to be paying attention to here is you know that Haworth's going to come in with some strong ground strokes. How capable is he going to be of passing Johns, who's so comfortable up at the kitchen line?
Side out.
Just figuring out exactly how to play against Ben Johns. I think that's been the equation for everybody that's had to face off against him. If you hope to stand a chance, where might you be looking? Are you just letting it fly?
Well, I think he needs to be aggressive. He's not going to beat Ben Johns playing the cat and mouse exclusively, but I think that finding some of those more 60, 70% drives where you're intentionally taking some pace off, going more spin to find those short angles is going to be important to pressure Johns in this match.
0-0.
So far, no points on the board for these two.
Point.
And make it the first for Johns.
Yeah, great depth on the serve there from Johns. Really pressures the return of serve when you can get good depth on that.
Good amount of reach there for Haworth.
Yeah, Haworth showing some variety on the backhand, using both two hands and one hand for the volleys.
0-1.
That's a pretty passing shot from Haworth.
Yeah, always like to get on the board early. If he can apply some, scoreboard pressure to Ben Johns here, anything can happen.
1-1. Point.
Make it a second for the 32 seed.
2-1.
3-1 now.
Yeah, and that was an example. Even though Johns was able to play that volley, good job by Haworth going with more spin, trying to find more angle than just trying to simply power it through him on the pass there.
Side out. One, 3. He called that
Ben
out.
Johns calling the ball
I
long
didn't
of
see.
the
I was watching
court.
your feet on the volley. Did you see that? It's a point.
Yeah, Haworth appealing the call, but referees unable
2-3.
to see it clearly enough to overrule.
Side
Great
out.
angle of the depth of the serve from Ben Johns.
3-2. Point.
And actually, speaking of depth, there was too much depth on that serve, apparently.
A little too greedy on that one.
4-2 now. We're also still getting warmed up, Kyle.
Side out.
Yeah, and that's a ball, not a bad shot selection by Haworth there, but when you get those mid-court balls, sometimes slowing it down really helps you open up the angles a
2-4.
little bit more.
Getting the better
Side out.
is Haworth.
Yeah, showing off the hands a little bit here early.
I think he got away
4-2.
with one there, though.
Side out.
A little tight on the wrist for Haworth.
Yeah, and that's the downside of just going drive, drive, drive every time in a row. It starts to give your opponents rhythm on the volley, and then when you don't have very much time to prepare for your next shot, it becomes more and more challenging.
Johns earns the side out, down by 2.
2-4. Point.
Had the right idea, but a little too much length to the sideline.
Yeah, and you see a conscious effort the last few
3-4.
points from Johns, recognizing how strong of a ball striker his opponent is and trying to get into more of that cat and mouse, dropping and working his way to the kitchen line.
Side
Clean
out.
put away for Haworth.
That being said, the quality of the drops have to be there. If you do leave it up, Haworth has clearly enough power to
4-3.
put that ball away without any problems.
Point.
Some spin, like you mentioned, maybe not as much power, but a nice passing shot again for the 32.
Yeah, the ability to get extra spin, even if your opponents can volley it, forces them to volley it from lower, which makes them less offensive with the volley.
And I think Ben Johns wants that volley back, having placed it just in the middle of the court.
No, really impressive stuff that we're seeing from Haworth here. The ball striking is clearly on another level right now, and see if he can keep staying grouped here.
Just wide.
He had the one he wanted.
Well, and also important to note, Haworth's had a few matches to get into this, having played through the qualifier. So feeling awfully warm coming into this matchup versus number 1. Ooh, that was beautiful, Ben Johns.
Yeah, John's going with the drive there. He's really shown some variety, still feeling out his opponent here, in my opinion.
4-6.
Another good ball. You talked about feeling out your opponent. What are some of the first things you look for?
Yeah, I think it's more of a foot race. Right after that return, you see the last pass that Ben Johns was able to hit. It was a much bigger target because Haworth wasn't able to get close to that kitchen line. So the harder you hit your return, it's a trade-off because it takes your time away of getting forward.
Let's see how hard Haworth hits this return. Gives him plenty of time.
Side out.
To your point. Timeout had been called by Haworth.
6-5. Point.
Yeah, John's not quite finding his rhythm so far with the return, but some of that could be the aggressive serve by Haworth is giving him some fits here.
Point.
Another great cross-court passing shot. My goodness.
8-5. Point.
He is dialed into the lines right now. Make it 9-5.
And right now, Johns has tested the backhand early. Now he's testing the forehand. Look for him to maybe go a little more middle, taking away some angle going forward.
And he gets a favorable bounce off the net. Make it 10.
Timeout, receiver, 10-5. 10-5. Point game, 11-5.
Misses it long, so Haworth has got to be feeling awfully good about himself as he takes game number 1, the 32 seed, but fully expect that man to make the adjustment here into game 2. Cameron Irwin alongside Kyle McKenzie on the Carvana PPA Tour.
0-0.
And first point to Ben Johns.
Point.
Yeah, and this is where Ben has the choice of, does he start by working that cat and mouse, playing a little slower, or looking to play more aggressive early? I think because he lost that first game, he's going to feel the pressure of coming out and being aggressive enough now that his back's up against the wall here.
Ben Johns facing off against Chris Haworth.
2-0.
Ben currently up 2-0 in game 2. Make it 3. And this is a man on a mission right here. This is what you fully expected into game 2.
Yeah, he's going to be dialed in. He knows it's now or never, not wanting to give Haworth the early upset here.
Point.
And it's only taken about 2 or 3 balls off his paddle each time for Ben Johns with a 4-0 advantage. Make it 5.
Yeah, nice adjustment there with the serve. Going into the body there, you saw how what it did is it forced Haworth to move laterally. Even if he makes that return, it's going to make him a little bit late coming in.
There's some length from Haworth.
Yeah, nice to have that 6'3" frame covering those passing shots.
0-5. Point.
Again, just getting Ben Johns stretched enough on that first volley to draw the error. Nice pass there.
Point.
And the second for Haworth.
2-5.
Tried to find the wheels, but can't find the ball.
Yeah, and it was a great pass again. Great volley by Johns, using the backspin and just kind of dropping that one a little bit intentionally short.
5-2. Point.
Inside out for Ben Johns.
Yeah, he's warmed up now, getting everything dialed.
6-2.
Plenty of depth on that from Haworth. Ben Johns is the defending singles champion over Tyson McGuffin here at the Arizona Grand Slam presented by Hyundai.
Point.
Make it 3-6 now.
Yeah, and I mean, Johns did everything he could there. He played a deep return, but Haworth still able to get enough spin to come up with a clean pass with no angle. That's tough to do.
Point.
4-6, climbing back in is 32.
4-6. Side out. 6-4.
He caught him reaching all the way to his right, tried to find the backhand side, but just missing.
Yeah, still put himself in a great position to win that point as well. It's clear that the passing shot ability that he possesses on both sides is really giving Johns some problems in this match.
Point.
Yeah, I've seen both players float quite a few returns long. Like we mentioned, it's colder this morning. That Dura ball, when it's colder, really has a tendency to fly. So expect that as the day gets going, we won't see quite as many returns float on display.
Men's singles action taking place now on our championship court.
Yeah, this is some of the variety that Johns possesses there. Went for the pass on the first one, but had the discipline to drop the next one. It just changes the available shots for his opponent as the point progresses.
Side out.
Just wide there with the backhand down the line from Johns.
4-9. Side out.
Yeah, it looks like Johns is having success if he can get Haworth reaching for the backhand, where he kind of hunches over, hinges at the waist. It seems like his percentages really go down there.
Point.
Speaking of reaching, couldn't even get a paddle on that one. Another nice shot from Ben Johns.
Yeah, bringing out the early morning ankle breaker on that one.
Nobody needs that.
No.
Wow, that was fluid.
You see the easy power. I mean, he's so relaxed through contact. Doesn't look like he's swinging very hard, but the ball is just flying off his paddle.
4-10.
Couple nice ground strokes there from Haworth.
Yeah, even though he lost that point, showed some great variety. It was an excellent return by Johns. Rather than going for the first pass, he chose to just drop that first one and look to make his way forward in a different way.
Side out.
5-10, or excuse me, side out now for Haworth.
4-10.
Relentless.
Yeah, we talked about the pace that Haworth has off the paddle, and even though Johns was in a good position here, just a little too much offense from his opponent.
Nice cover there in the middle.
Point.
Yeah, he's really showing an ability to move forward gradually, which he didn't even really have to showcase in game 1. So really liking the variety that he has in his game here.
Side out.
Little frustration. Ben Johns with another shot to take game 2.
Side out. 6-10.
Ben Johns cutting that ball down beautifully.
And I think that's going to be the pattern. I think Johns has found the pattern that he likes. It's if he can get a good first volley, subsequent volleys, playing him just a little shorter with backspin to that backhand side and forcing
10-6.
Haworth to hit shots moving forward.
Point game, 11-6.
Game number 2 to Ben Johns. Arizona Grand Slam, presented by Hyundai.
Side out.
Good depth there, just on the first rally alone from Ben Johns.
Yeah, with being a taller guy, it seems like really when he has to get down low for those lower backhands, that seems to be the most difficult paths so far for Haworth.
Side out.
Serve just long, side out.
0-0. Point.
And the first point on the board.
Yeah, not easy to hit that with enough spin to get that to drop at the end. Really great stuff here, and the start that he needs if he wants to pull this upset off.
Side out.
Frustrated with himself a little bit. He had a clean look there. See if he can bounce back.
0-1. Point.
A little too much spin on that, might have clipped the net.
Yeah, and he has the ability to use both one and two hands on that backhand volley. The lower it is, I'd like to see him release that hand and maybe go with a backspin one-handed volley on that particular shot.
Well, he released the other hand. He went full southpaw on one of those.
Well, if it's not enough of a challenge to pass him with being 6'3", when he has the ability to use the left hand as well, that's quite a point there. And let's see if he can get a lead here in game 3.
Side out.
Another side out for Ben Johns. You mentioned the pattern of potentially chopping that ball down after some depth on the backhand side. Still looking for that here in game 3.
Point.
Yeah, it looks like just a little bit wide. You see Johns slowing things down, really trying to get Haworth reaching for that backhand and play more touch shots there.
Side out.
Yeah, looks like Johns had his paddle face very, very closed on that one. Wasn't able to get enough grit to do much with that and clear the net.
1-2. Side out.
Haworth had a nice look in transition. Very calculated, but just missing once he got to the kitchen line.
Yeah, hit some good shots to get himself there, but I think as he plays more and gets used to slowing those balls down as he's coming forward, it'll create bigger angles that he can come up with.
Tons of spin on that one.
Yeah, and the reach, too. I mean, Johns is really trying to get that ball to bounce or get Haworth to have to hit up. Tougher to do when he can lean that far into the kitchen.
Side out.
Wow, again, another great shot, but it was set up by that nice shot to the backhand side right at the feet of Johns.
Yeah, absolutely, and he made that look easy, but he did not have a lot of time to prepare for that backhand up the line. Almost like a half volley in that situation. Very, very great timing on his part.
Side out.
Nice expansion of the court there for Ben Johns.
Yeah, you see how tough Johns is to pass in his own right. Might not be as tall as Haworth, but he has so much experience covering those angles.
2-1. Point.
Make it 3-1 now. Ben Johns with the advantage.
3-1. Point.
Yeah, Haworth was there for the volley, but it's always a little bit tougher rather than just make the volley to bring it back across your body. That's where the opening was, but just makes that volley just tough enough to miss there.
Looping that back around. Talk about placement.
Yeah, well, and he held it and disguised it really, really well. Certainly had Johns fooled on that one.
1-4. Side out.
Always a little tougher to beat the #1 player in the world when fortune is on their side as well.
Point.
You can see the amount of pressure that serve of Ben Johns brings to the table.
5-1. Side out.
Yeah, it's a shot he was attempting a couple of points ago. Almost that swinging forehand volley to take it across your body. That's where the opening is. Great execution there.
Side out.
Trying to carve that back again cross court.
Yeah, I like the idea by taking the pace off and letting the angle open up. Did not miss that one by much.
Chris with another great shot. He made his way up to the kitchen line and then back to the baseline and still found a winner.
It looked like he was about ready to lose that point and pulled one out of his back pocket there just in time.
Side out.
Higher bounce, ball long.
Yeah, he knows that that was a very makeable pass there. A little frustrated with himself. Let's see if he can keep this close here.
Reserve.
Let's serve.
5-1.
Ben says, thank you very much. Oh my. Johns will have a bit of a trek to Championship Sunday. Christian Alshon also on the same side of his bracket. They may face each other in quarterfinals action if they both continue to win. Christian Alshon has a first round match versus Nico Montoya. See how that shaped up.
Side out.
Yeah, nice depth on that that first volley from Johns there. Just took away some of that preparation time from Haworth. He likes to loop both his forehand and his backhand. When you can take away time, it's really hard with that extra preparation of the looping swing.
Saw some special sauce there from Ben Johns, starting to get really fluid with some of those contacts.
Yeah, he's making his opponent hit a variety of different types of shots, but Haworth was up to the task on that one.
1-6. Point. Two, 6.
Fortune was on his side previously. Now on the side of Haworth.
They all even out in the long run, right?
Is that true?
I'm sticking with it.
I feel like I'm always on the other side of that one.
Side out.
First lob we've seen. This is the danger of lobbing.
Yeah, I mean, generally it's only used when it's really your only other shot, and he just didn't have enough time to prepare for a good ground stroke there.
Threading the needle is Ben Johns.
And you see how balanced he is, Cameron, on each shot. He has a way of cutting off the angle and being so efficient with his footwork. Really an underrated part of his game.
Reserve.
Let's hear. And just lofting that, the pursuit from Chris on display.
And able to put just enough on that. Johns had the entire court open, but he was surprised with how big this ball came back.
Side out.
You know, it's so interesting you talked about that circular motion and having come over from tennis. So many of those the professional athletes have to then adjust and kind of shorten that stroke. Another good ball from Ben. But the question is the balance between the two.
Yeah, I think that, you know, the way I teach it is it's definitely allowable when you're back at the baseline. But as you start making your way in, you have less and less reaction time. That's where you really want to think about condensing and shortening that motion.
Side out.
Looking for the drop is Johns. Beautifully done.
Yeah, both players had their own little highlight reel shot in that.
He did.
Great defense on the Johns ATP there. Awesome point.
Point.
I always like at the end of a point that you're not even sure what part to highlight because it was all just that good.
5-8.
5-8 now.
Yeah, Johns, like we mentioned before, doing a great job of using that backspin on that backhand volley to really keep that ball low. It makes it so much tougher for the next pass from Haworth on that backhand side.
Side out.
Another side out.
And Haworth is within striking distance here, 5'8". He can go on a run at any time.
Taking the pace off, you could see him trying to reach well in front. I was just about to ask you, what's the strategy, maybe game plan for Ben Johns to close out game 3?
Point.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, I think he's done a good job this match of balancing and varying his patterns. Yeah. What I always teach is when you get to the end of the match, play your favorite ones. So whatever he's the most comfortable with, it's more about you than your opponent when you just need a point or two.
Wow, Ben Johns doing a really nice job in the transition zone right there, trying to keep himself in that point.
Yeah, it came up with a little mid-court half volley reset to stay alive there. Really, really tough to cover the whole court, though, in singles.
Starting to find those on the backhand side, the short angle cross court. He missed a few of those, if I can remember back to games 1 and 2, but it seems as if he's found 2 now in game 3, that same side.
And that's really the counter move. When Johns plays his volley a little shorter, it opens up the angle if you can use more spin.
Side out.
Yeah, may have not been there for that extreme of an angle, but when you're getting the volley peppered back at you time and time again, easy to get reactive.
9-6.
Might have actually hit his own leg right there. What a touch from Ben Johns in the transition zone.
Yeah, he does it better than anyone, and I feel for Haworth on that last one. He really thought that ball was going to bounce up a lot higher to overhead, but one of the big changes from tennis to pickleball.
Ben Johns was challenged in his first round match. However, he comes up victorious. The #1 seed taking down number 32.
Yeah, credit to Christopher Haworth, really pushing Johns in this. Certainly a name to look out for future tournaments. But again, we talked about the poise of Ben Johns, the problem solving. He was able to find that formula to get through this match.
Ben Johns, the #1 seed. Hats off to him as he moves on to round number 2.